What is going on, everyone? Happy Sunday. Happy Selection Sunday. The selection show is in the books, and we now know the fate of the teams that will be playing in the tournament for the 2022 NCAA tournament, and the Auburn Tigers, as expected, getting a higher seed. Of course, they were going for the number 1 seed, ended up with a number 2 seed after falling out of the SEC tournament maybe earlier than expected. And to talk about Auburn's landing spot as a number 2 seed, Nubias Wilburn. What is going on, Nubias? How's it going? You've been our guy for the past few days, kind of assessing where the Auburn Tigers are, and of course, getting the number 2 seed. They will play number 15, Jacksonville State, on Friday in the Midwest region bracket in Greenville, South Carolina. So as we kind of break this thing down, obviously we're all just, it's chaos, right? Pandemonium. All the teams are coming in. We're trying to figure playing who. Actually, a very unique story coming into this one. 2 teams from the state of Alabama, which is cool. But just your overall thoughts on where Auburn ended up, especially here as the number 2 seed.
Well, I mean, listen, getting started off against Jacksonville State from the way in which Jacksonville State qualified. They didn't win the conference tournament, but I guess with the regular season and combined with the fact that the team that won the conference tournament, which I'm not going to try to pronounce it, I want to embarrass myself, but shout out to that team transferring from Division II to Division I. They won the tournament, and Jacksonville State had some tiebreakers, and they're going to dance it, and they get to play Auburn, which could be an interesting crowd there in Greenville. Forgive me, I got to figure out where Jacksonville, Alabama is or where Jacksonville State is. I'm still learning the area, but I know from Auburn, Greenville is a 4-hour drive. Auburn has a large fan base in Atlanta, which is about like a 2-hour drive from Atlanta to Greenville. And coming from Atlanta, you have to switch time zones, so that's a good thing for those people. So it's going to be a fun time, I think, in that arena. And as far as with how the bracket shakes out, it's tough because, let's say they win that game. All right, they would have to either play USC or Tennessee to Miami in the round 32. If they advance to the Sweet 16, that would be in Chicago, where you have Kansas, Wisconsin, and Providence as the other top 4 seeds, which means particularly depending on how it shapes out, I mean, you might be playing Wisconsin in what is pretty much a home game for Wisconsin, unless, well, at least by distance, it's a home game for Wisconsin. I wouldn't be shocked, based upon how the Auburn people have shown all year, that Auburn still may make it their thing. Because one thing about it is Chicago, it's different from some of the other college towns. It's a very easy place to get to. If you can get to Atlanta's airport or Birmingham's airport, if you're in Alabama and you're an Auburn fan, you can get direct flights to O'Hare. And trust me, I'm pretty sure all people are going to figure out a way to get there.
Yeah, and I was going to say, we'll let the Auburn fans weigh in that are in the comments right now, chatting it up. Steve Hauser did say Jack State a little closer drive to Greenville than Auburn. But again, I think this is, it's a fun matchup. Obviously, Auburn getting the number 2 seed, the highest seeding in the NCAA tournament in 23 years. They earned the program's only number 1 seed in the 99 tournament. And, I think that's kind of what's interesting, because I guess coming into this, there was hopes, expectations that Auburn could land the number 1 seed had they been able to advance through the SEC tournament and obviously winning the regular season SEC title, but then not being able to, cap things off there in the SEC tournament on the road or in a neutral site, I guess I should say. But, it's interesting to kind of just see how things shake out. Auburn is one of 2 SEC teams to earn the 2 seed, Kentucky being the other team, which is following one of the most successful seasons in program history. And, it's just kind of interesting to see how things shake out. With Auburn's season being kind of how it ended with the 27-5 overall record. They won the 3rd most games in the season in program history, set a school record for most regular season wins. So they're poised and primed in a pretty good spot there. And certainly I think Greenville is a great place to maneuver, and then just try to look at the bracket, because again, this is all happening so quick. So I guess that will be played on Friday. And then what is next for Auburn after that? You've got the bracket there in front of you.
Well, they would play on Sunday if they win that game. I'm going to say Auburn should win that game, okay? And then they would either face 7 seed USC or 10 seed Miami, and that would be on Sunday. Again, as right now, we don't know what the time those games are going to be. And you don't know where they're going to – because, again, with the Greenville spot, there'll be teams from the Midwest. There'll be teams from other regions also playing in Greenville. And so I think it's really good for Auburn to get that, because it's close to Auburn. Yeah. Obviously, with big fan bases, big alumni groups in Charlotte, North Carolina, as well as in Atlanta and even in Greenville, it is definitely a very fair from location point for Auburn. You could have got Pittsburgh, you could have got Buffalo, which I mean, I don't mind Pittsburgh, but might be a little further for people. And then you would go from there to Chicago for the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. Again, Chicago is a very easy place to get to. So this could be a very advantageous, at least from the fan perspective, of being able to get to the sites. Chicago's going to have plenty of hotels. You can figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. And kind of reading some of the comments here, James Butler asked, what time is the game? We actually don't know what time the game is. That's yet to be determined. The network also TBD. Most of these games, obviously, on the main CBS network, kind of depending. But yeah, at this point, everything has not been, I guess, determined. And of course, we'll be hearing from Bruce Pearl here coming up just in a few minutes. So we look forward to hearing his comments, sort of what he thinks about the way things shook out. Before I let you go, New Bias, I want to ask you, just based on what you saw, the body of work from this Auburn basketball team throughout the season, and then going into the SEC tournament, again, not playing maybe the way that they had hoped they would end things in the SEC tournament. The hope obviously was that they were going to, advance, survive and advance, and be playing up until today. But Texas A&M, of course, beating them, falling Texas A&M 67-62 in what became a pretty disappointing loss for the Auburn Tigers. Just kind of give me an overview, what your thoughts are, where Auburn is at this point in the season, and what your projection is as to how far they may be able to make it in this tournament. What do you feel comfortable saying beyond this Jacksonville State game? Because I know you said that you felt like they could win it pretty easily. Of course, nothing.
I won't say pretty easily. I'll never say pretty easily because it's never easy. Basketball is a difficult sport. But what I will say is this, okay? Auburn, and I've said this really from the beginning, I have not changed. I have no reason to. Auburn has the talent to be a Final Four team. Assuming Walker Kessler is healthy, which in actuality, maybe losing to Texas A&M might be a blessing because you didn't have to play 3 straight games in 3 straight days. You got to get back to Auburn, not be in Tampa, rest up, get off your feet. I'm sure when we talk to Bruce Pearl a little bit, he'll talk about that and mention that, and that could be a positive. You want to win every game you play. And look, Texas A&M got hot. I mean, they almost beat Tennessee today. I mean, they almost ran the gauntlet of winning 4 straight games. I mean, they faded off towards the end. Texas A&M got hot because they're a good team, because they're in a good conference, because the SEC is the best conference in basketball. You can lose, okay? And I think maybe that could be a thing where Auburn realizes they can lose. They settled for a lot of shots. I don't think KD Johnson is going to shoot 0 for 14 again. All right? I don't think.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not.
If it does happen, then yeah, you might have a problem. And if you miss like 28 threes in one game, yeah, you might lose, okay? But outside of that, I don't see Auburn being in a situation where if they're at their best, they won't have a chance to beat any team in the country. Bottom line.
I like it. I think that's a good take. Nubias, thank you for your insight there. And again, just recapping, Auburn getting in the NCAA tournament. We had to wait a little while there for their announcement to come down. Number 2 seed. They will play number 15 Jacksonville State Friday in the Midwest region bracket. That is happening in Greenville, South Carolina. This, again, is Auburn's highest seeding in the NCAA tournament in 23 years. The Tigers earned the program's only 1 seed in the 99 tournament. So
I wouldn't be surprised if the networks want to make this a prime game. I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the night games based upon the fan base that Auburn has within the people who go to the games, but also, I mean, Jabari Smith is an elite talented player, and you're going to want to try to get him out there. And Auburn's been a good team all year. People are going to want to see him. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the evening, but we'll see what they do. And again, it's the networks. We'll see what CBS and Turner and the multitude of networks that put on the NCAA tournament decide to put on.
Yep. And we'll, of course, keep you guys up to date. Of course, no bias. I know you're about to jump on over and listen to Bruce Pearl. We'll be keeping our eye on that press conference. I'm sure we'll have that downloaded or uploaded onto our social media accounts when all is said and done. So you can listen to Coach Pearl and the Auburn Tigers about their selection and how they feel they landed and what the road ahead looks like as they get ready to do it with me, no bias. Dance.
There you go. There you go. Link it up, right? I'm looking forward to Greenville, man. I can't wait. And hopefully, by the way, the readers out there, I really appreciate y'all. If I get to see some of y'all, please holler at me. And I love y'all, man. This has been real fun.
Yes, awesome. Sounds good, Nubias. Thank you so much for your efforts, your travels, safe travels out there. Enjoy the big dance. And we'll check back in with you guys soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. Happy Sunday. Take